Hi guys, I'm Gabby.
It's Caleb.
And today is the day before we head off on our holiday, so we're getting all prepped and ready to go.
One of our little traditions is to go get a mani and a pedi down at the mall before we go, just to make sure we're all sorted to go and in good tip-top condition. So yeah, that's where we're off to now.
So earlier today, Caleb and I went and got our manicures and pedicures done. I got some nice silver sparkly. Caleb just got his nice and tidied up.
A natural look.
Yeah. So I wanted to start off by introducing our camera. We named him. His name is Gary. This is his case. I just find it really funny to name different items that we have after like human names. So whenever Caleb and I are packing or something, I'll be like, "Oh, have you got Gary?" And yeah, it's just a running joke between us. But we also have our power bank, and his name is Dave. So that's another thing that we always talk about. Like, "Oh, do you have Dave? Can I borrow Dave?" And it's just a dumb joke that we have. So being that it's the night before we leave, we are packing our bags. We'll probably do the majority of it tomorrow.
Today we've just spent the day sort of getting all those little bits and pieces sorted, making sure we've remembered everything, making sure the washing that we want is done, so we're just not missing any little bits and pieces. If there's any helpful things for anyone else who's going to be jet setting in the next little while.
Thought we'd make a little video with our tips and tricks for traveling, getting through the airport, how to pack properly, as two people who've done a little bit of that in our time together. We have a little system going when we're going through the airport. Caleb's in charge of the bags, obviously, he's the muscle, and I'm in charge of the documents, so passports, tickets, boarding passes. I hold on to all of those. Caleb makes sure all the bags get on the belt at the right time, and all the overhead luggage storage stuff, that's all Caleb. Now, something funny that I've started doing, it stems from Dad being a pilot. So when Dad's flying the aircraft with another pilot, they have this system where when one of them is handing over control to the other pilot, they say, "You have control," and the other pilot says,
"I have control."
So it's a bit silly, but when we're in the airport, there's always those times where you're like, "Oh, where's my passport?" Like, "Oh, did I put it in my bag?" Like, "Oh, do you have it?" So instead of doing that, every time we need to hold on to our individual documents, I tell Caleb, "You have your passport," and he says,
"I have my passport."
And then when he hands it back to me, he says,
"You have the passport."
And then I say, "I have the passports." So it's like a verbal acknowledgement that you have the thing each time. So whenever we're changing hands, there's never any confusion because we've both said out loud who's holding the passports at what time. So in terms of luggage, Caleb and I are taking one suitcase each. That's a 23 kilo bag, I believe. And on the way home, we've booked an extra bag. It's inevitable that we're going to be shopping over in Disneyland. So to avoid the stress of overpacking or having to weigh your suitcase a million times on the way home, we just grab an extra one for a small price, and then we have that peace of mind when we're coming home that we've got enough space for everything that we want and we're not going to go over any weight limits. Now, often people will go on about the weight limits, say, "Oh, it doesn't really matter." But something to remember is that someone is actually picking up and carrying your bag on and off belts when they're loading it through the airport. So those limits actually are in place to save someone else's back when they're trying to haul your massive piece of luggage on and off the belt. I know it doesn't seem like much, but I try to keep that in mind that someone else's back's going to be hurting if I've got a bag over the limit. So yeah, we book an extra bag if we know that we're going to be buying lots of items or adding additional weight to our luggage in any way. Try and keep it under, otherwise they charge you if you go over. So we've compiled a list of our tips for traveling. This part's mainly through the airport and getting onto the plane and getting to the other side. So number one, I've said print out your travel documents. Now, everything is electronic these days. You use your phone for everything. You can check in on your phone. You can use your boarding pass on your phone. However, in the scenario where your phone dies or you lose Wi-Fi or for whatever reason, It's so much better to have a printed copy of your e-ticket. I also print my boarding pass every time just in case. And any copies of your visas. We also have a printed photocopy of our passports. And we always just have printed copies in case for whatever reason you can't access your emails, the Wi-Fi cuts out, your phone dies. So you're always prepared, and if anyone stops you, you can show them the physical document. So for our trip to the States, we've got our passports printed out, our ESTAs, our e-tickets, and we'll be printing our boarding passes when we get to the airport tomorrow.
So our second tip is a little bit of a peace of mind one. We throw AirTags into our luggage, so no matter where in the world our luggage may end up, even if it's not where we are, we will know where it is. We're quite fortunate. We haven't really had any issues with missing luggage before, but we kind of take that extra precaution just in case it does ever happen to us. We kind of have a way of knowing where it is, and just in case the airlines kind of lose it in the void somewhere.
And off the back of that, my tip number 3, if there's a worst case scenario where you do lose your bag, for some reason it doesn't go on the flight, for some reason it gets put on a later flight, and you arrive in your destination and you don't have your luggage, my third tip is pack all of your important, expensive, valuable items in your carry-on. So for me, I think about my jewellery. If I was to lose my jewellery because I lost my luggage, that would be an expensive thing to replace. If I didn't have my medication that I take every day, so that's like multivitamins, antihistamines, iron tablets, things like that I take on a daily basis at a specific time. If I don't have those when I arrive, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Or if there's just a delay in the bag getting to your destination, you don't want to be without key medications that you need. So that always goes in my carry-on in a little clear plastic bag. Other valuable items we always take with us, so we take Gary, our expensive camera, in our carry-on with us, and we also take Dave with us in our carry-on, which is our power bank, but we would do that anyway because you have to take those in your carry-on luggage anyway. With Air New Zealand flights, you're allowed one piece of carry-on luggage and a personal item, and that's supposed to be 7 kilos. So Caleb and I like to keep our carry-on as light as possible, only carrying the things, like I said, that were important, expensive, valuable, or things that have to go in your carry-on. Make sure that those are practical bags to be carrying. Sometimes you've got all of these handbags that are open, that don't have zips, that things fall out of. That's not an ideal carry-on bag.
So tip number 4, and just with any travel in going anywhere, but especially on airplanes and through airports, is just wear comfortable shoes. There's a lot of hanging around, standing around, waiting in lines. So just wear something comfortable on your feet that will just make the process easier. My mum always told me growing up that invest in some good shoes that'll help stop you from getting sore feet, and she's always been right, for me at least. So
when we went to LAX last time, we ended up waiting 2 hours on the other side when we arrived to get through US customs. So if you haven't got comfy shoes, standing in a line, I mean, it moves but slowly. 2 hours is a long time to be in a queue, so yeah, you really want to have comfy shoes. So, oh dear, do you want to show everyone our practical, comfortable shoes that we've selected?
Yeah, so we've been through a few different shoe companies over the years. They've been really good, actually. We both have recently gone through Skechers. We've been doing that for a couple of years. They've been really good. Asics as well is another brand that we've used in the past that we really enjoy. We're trying a new brand. We've kind of seen them around, seen some really positive reviews. We've got Hockers that we were quite fortunate that we were able to snag these on a good deal in the Boxing Day sales over Christmas. We thought we'd just try out a new brand and just see how they're going.
What type did we get, dear?
We've got the Bondi 9s, which is, I think, their most popular just walking shoes from what the guy was telling us at the store. But yeah, so far they've been really, really cool, really great. We've kind of got to use them for a couple of things. I've got an extra pair for work as well, so I've been using them at work. So it's on my feet 8 hours a day. It's been really, really good. Definitely noticing the extra cushion that they have compared to my old Skechers. So yeah, really, really impressed with them so far.
Caleb, having got his pair, told me about how amazing they were and suggested that I get them. I got myself a pair of black ones and love them so far, Bondi 9s as well. It's sort of like walking on a cloud. It's really odd to get used to, but really enjoy them. They're great for walking. I take them when I go for a walk with the girls, our 3 dogs, and I also have been wearing them at the gym when I'm doing my interval training, and it's really good for running as well, really soft and cushiony. So I am very excited to try them out on our travels around the theme parks. We often get up to about 25,000 steps a day when we're at theme parks, so it'll be hard going. I'm looking forward to testing them out and seeing if they can hack it and seeing how my feet feel after a day in those. Another thing I'll add to that is that something I've learned from Dad, and I think it's just common sense, that if you're ever on the airplane and there's an emergency when you're traveling, having closed-in shoes like sneakers or trainers are the better type of shoe to have to be able to evacuate the plane in an emergency. You don't want to be wearing high heels. You probably don't want to be wearing open-toed shoes. So I'm thinking about that when I'm selecting my shoes to wear on the plane.
So it leads us into tip 5, when you'll sense a pattern. We're all about comfort when it comes to travel. Just making sure you've got like adequate clothing for the plane. It can get quite cold, especially when they get up to altitude and they're cruising over the ocean to another country. So just make sure you got warm clothes, clothes that you'll be happy sitting in 12 hours on a plane seat for. In economy, which is what we're doing. So things you're happy to sleep in, things that will just keep you comfortable and at a good temperature, because sometimes the planes will have blankets, sometimes they won't, so kind of best to sort of take all of the cards into your own hands so that you can make sure you're as comfortable as you can for the long haul flights.
Yeah, and in addition to that, that also means a warm layer up top. So even if you're going to a warm destination, like we'll be going to LA, it should be about 22 degrees Celsius when we arrive. So that's still pretty warm for us, but on the plane with the air conditioning, it's going to be cold. So you want to make sure you have a warm layer. So I always take a jumper or a hoodie, and I actually just bought Caleb a new hoodie. So Caleb, do you want to tell everyone about your new hoodie?
Yeah, so it's just a cool little travel hoodie. It's got all sorts of little zips and pockets and stuff. But
the brand is Comfort, COMFRT. So missing an O, but
the main thing that it's got built-in eye shades. So gonna try those out on this flight. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's a bit of a unique feature, but yeah, we'll give it a go and we'll report back and let you know how it goes.
So as Caleb mentioned, each of the pockets, there's about 4, they're all zip pockets on his hoodie. So Caleb is one of those people who gets quite paranoid about losing things in his pockets, like his AirPods, his phone, his wallet. He wants to make sure that they're all safe and secure. So having 4 zip-up pockets, show them the one on your other sleeve. It's like a nice little thing. You can chuck your AirPods in there, and then just have peace of mind that you're not going to lose anything and everything's in its place.
The other good thing about taking on like your warm jacket or whatever onto the carry-on is that you don't have to pack it, and it takes that can take up a lot of space in your bag. So if you're not packing it and you just carry it on with you, then you've got more room to pack other things.
Yeah, so very practical tip. So that leads on to tip number 6.
As you're waiting to get in line for your security, I put everything in my pockets into my bag, zip it all up, so then when I get to my turn, I can just put my bag on the tray and send it through, and I'm having to sort of fish through all my pockets, make sure I've got everything out. And then, yeah, that way it's all nice and neat in your bag. Just put your bag on the tray, send it through, go through your machine, and then on the other side, you only just have to grab your bag as well. You don't have to try and grab everything and shove it in your pockets. There's a million other people are trying to come behind you and get their things as well.
I have a story about this. I hadn't done that one time. I was traveling by myself. I was actually flying over to Australia to go see this guy, and I had my very expensive sunglasses with me, had them on my head, chucked them in the tray when I went through security, grabbed everything, or so I thought, and then went off to my gate to board my flight to Australia, and then realised, oh no, where are my sunglasses? Had to turn around, run back to security. In the midst of doing that, fell over in the middle of the airport. It was really embarrassing. People stopped to try and help me out. And I was like, oh my God, leave me alone. I'm so embarrassed. Made it back to security. The guy who had been in my lane had held on to them and just thought, oh, someone will come back for these. Thankfully, got them back. $600 sunglasses. Do not want to leave them behind. So now everything just comes off before I go through security, goes in the bag, zipped up, and then, like Caleb said, bag on the tray, and that's all you have to pick up on the other side. The only thing I will have in my hand is my little passport holder, which has our passports and boarding passes in it. And that's the only thing separate from the backpack. So my next tip is, in addition to putting all your loose items from your pockets into your bag beforehand, is don't wear a million pieces of jewellery and lots of accessories, because it's just going to slow everything down when you get to your tray at security and you have to take everything off, or you go through and then your bangles are setting off the metal detector or whatever it is. It's just so much faster if you don't have lots of things to sort of faff around with in the line. I may not have mentioned this before, but Caleb knows this very well. I am naturally a very impatient person, so going through an airport is a very good test of my patience. Going through queues, you're having to deal with lots of crowds. So my number one tip, which is the last tip on our list, is be polite to everyone who's working in the airport. They're trying to get you through as quickly as possible. So I'm always polite to the staff. The only thing that really annoys me in airports is actually other passengers who don't know the system and are too slow. When we're going through security, I try and smile and polite. When you're going through the metal detectors and things, just wait to be summoned. There's so many people I see, my mum included, where they just barge straight through, and you want them to just have time to be able to acknowledge you, say, yes, we're ready for you, and then you come through when they're ready. And then when you're waiting for your bags on the other side of the security machines, if you see there's lots of trays clogging up the thing, stack the trays up and put them at the end. Like, you're helping out the staff that are there. You're just standing around waiting anyway. And then everyone's like, oh, I can't get to my bag. There's 5 trays in the way. No, just like get in and help and just be a nice, helpful, useful person in that queue. So I hope you liked our tips. Take them on board if you want. You don't have to use them. They're just things that we like to think about and do when we're traveling together. To summarize, print out your documents. Don't rely on your phone. AirTags in your bag if you can. Keep all your important things in your carry-on. Comfortable shoes. Warm clothes and a warm layer. Don't have things in your pockets that are going to slow you down in security. Don't wear a million pieces of jewellery. Don't forget your sunglasses like I did. Be polite, kind, smile, be nice to all of the staff in the airport.
So that's a bit of a summary of how we operate in our travel adventures together. Hopefully maybe you've learned something or just gotten a bit of insight, or I can just say that we're silly. But yeah, so we'll be packing up everything tomorrow. We're heading off tomorrow night. We can't wait. We're really excited to go on a little trip overseas. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to our 11 subscribers. We're really glad to have you along with us on our adventures.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe.